Well, first of all, I want to welcome you to the Argyle ADAS Solutions USA location in North Texas. I want to introduce myself. I'm Frank Phillips. I'm Vice President of Strategy with ADAS Solutions. And I want to walk you through what ADAS is. So everybody says ADAS, ADAS. What does that mean? That's the technology that's on your vehicle that keeps you centered in a lane. It adjusts the speed that you travel down the road with adaptive cruise control. Some of those different kinds of advanced features that we're seeing on late model vehicles today. So when we think about those vehicles and how they protect us and our families when we're driving on the open roads, that's where we come into play and how we address the repairability of those systems through factors that might affect those systems time. One of those main factors is collision repair following an accident. Unfortunately, even with all of the features that we have on vehicles today, we still invariably get into accidents from time to time. And so when that occurs, the collision center repairs the damage that we can see, the dents and the scrapes, and replaces that physical damage that is visible. And then we come into play and we fix the technology that's on that vehicle and assure that those systems are returned to the condition that they were in prior to the accident. So we want to make sure that that lane departure that keeps you in your lane and not veering into a car next to you is actually functioning and working properly once those repairs are completed. We do that through calibration. And so those systems by nature and by manufacturer are programmable. They're designed to learn. And so following an accident, depending on what's all involved in repairing the vehicle, there could be parts and pieces that the collision center put onto the car that need to be reprogrammed, for example. A lot of the late model cars have headlights that steer. The F-150 that you see over my shoulder actually has adaptive headlights. So when you turn a corner, they turn with you. And so when you replace that headlight, it requires a program. ADAS Solutions addresses those types of needs following a collision repair. And the vehicle that's sitting over here, the Infinity, actually has a camera in the windshield. That's what sees down the road and makes sure that you're keeping distance between the car in front of you. That camera has to be calibrated following a windshield replacement, an alignment, collision repair. Lots of different circumstances would drive that vehicle to require that system to be calibrated. And so the machine that we have sitting in front of it's got some targets on it, and we go into the computer system on the vehicle, access that program, and tell it we're ready to learn. Here's your target. Find yourself in space and make sure that the system's working properly. So that's what ADAS is. It stands for Advanced Driver Assist Systems. And pretty much every vehicle that is 2014 and newer has some component of ADAS on it. And so that's most of the cars that we see on the road. Most vehicles on the road today are 11 years old. And so we're kind of in that window of those vehicles having these types of systems. So ADAS Solutions comes into place to support collision centers because the space and the environment that is required to properly calibrate cars looks like the space and the area that we have here at Argyle. It requires a minimum of 2,400 square feet of open space, a precision level floor, certain lighting and wall conditions and coloring. And these are types of things that you just don't typically see in an automotive collision business. They're really focused in on doing the physical repairs, right? That's taking the car apart and putting it back together. We bring cars in here at the end of the repair process, so the vehicle's already all put back together, all the parts have been replaced. We are getting into the computer and the software of the vehicle to make sure that that's repaired properly before the car goes home to the owner. So that's what you're seeing here. Super clean environment, quiet environment. We don't have a lot of hammers and dollies and those types of things going on that you typically see in a collision center. We don't have any of the fluids and the oil changing and those types of things that you see in a service center where they're doing a lot of tires and that type of thing. We do have an alignment machine. The reason we have an alignment machine is part of the process of calibration oftentimes requires the wheels to be aligned properly based on the manufacturer's instructions. So we want to make sure that we're following those OE procedures properly. And so we have an alignment machine on site to perform those when necessary. So that's the biggest piece of equipment that you see in the shop and our biggest square footage consumption inside of our facilities. Otherwise, it's typically clear space. All of our equipment is on wheels and is mobile. We really keep the place, our calibration centers clearly organized so that things are in their place. And that's what's required in order to properly calibrate cars. It's critical that the computers on the cars have the environment that the manufacturer requires for them to learn properly so that that system functions when the car's back on the road. So way different than what you typically think about when you're thinking about an automotive repair center. We're very much into technology, exclusively technology. We don't take cars apart. We don't do physical repairs to them here. The biggest thing that we may do is hook a battery support system up to the battery under the hood, which you can see is what's connected to the Infinity that's sitting behind me here. So that's kind of the gist of what we do in the space of ADAS calibrations. We get all into the technology of the vehicle, programming computers, programming new modules that could be installed on that vehicle following a collision repair. Thanks for joining me today at Argyle and giving us some time to explain our business.